Welcome to Smart Women Talk. This is your host, Katana Abbott. I'm a midlife millionaire coach and a certified financial planner, and I search the world for smart women and a few good men, including best-selling authors and thought leaders who are on that leading edge. So join us for conversations on money, business, health, and inspiration, so you can live with more purpose, passion, and prosperity. Hi, everyone. This is Katana Abbott, and I want to welcome you to Smart Women Talk. Today, we're going to be speaking with intuitive coach Julia Griffin about creating empowerment with inner work that can help you find your flow, to create space and find calm when you're working through difficult times. And Julia is a magician at helping you manifest your dreams. She's a returning guest. Today, we're going to be talking about how to tap into the universe for energy and a better life, the ways we can become disempowered with those false beliefs, and then strategies that we can use for energy work, meditation, and visualization to overcome those blocks that we face and to create confidence and clarity. What we're going to be looking at today are some energy tools and exercises that you can do to bring you into empowerment, to give you the tools to take charge of your life. So I'm really excited to have you here, Julia. You're a returning guest, and welcome to Smart Women Talk.
I'm so happy to be here. I want all of you to know that these are absolutely free, but they do take work, imagination, and rewriting your thoughts and your emotions. Having said that, once you begin this, you feel like 100 times better about your life. We all know that there is a universal energy that is composed of love and light. What people don't always know is that we have something that I call the inner self, a part of us that's within us that can connect to this. And when we connect with this, if we visualize and feel what we want, and we continue to bring in that stream of energy, like right now, you're feeling it because we're talking about it. When I say love, you feel your heart and the people that you love. All of the very best moments in your life, when you felt the best physically, when you fell in love, when you had a child, when you were successful with your career, when you suddenly had more money, all those things come from your inner self and the way that it connects to the universe. The cool part about it is everybody has this part of themselves. All we need to do is to become aware, focus on light, think about our hearts and what we truly want, and begin to focus on it. Because it's human nature. Whenever something is not there, you think, oh no, I don't have this. Oh no, I need to do this. When you would do so much better if you started visualizing and feeling that you already had.
We have your 10-part meditation course in the Smart Women's Academy. And I just want to share something that when I take that, because periodically I go back in and I redo it, and I don't know what it is. Maybe you can explain, but when you say on the audio recording, so go inside, what ends up happening, I almost feel a whoosh feeling. And I really feel that I'm inside something. I'm inside my physical body. And so I get a very physical experience from that, and it's very positive. So can you explain that?
Sure.
It's really powerful. And I want to say that when I try to do it on my own, I have a really hard time of becoming present.
I think it's easier to have someone help you until that feeling becomes completely familiar to you. So it takes practice like everything, but that feeling that you're having, that whoosh, that's the second of connection. When we become aware of the universe or God or love or light or whatever you want to call it, when it connects to us and we connect to it, that is one of the most magical things that there is in this existence. People talk a lot about the secret, but the secret that no one tells is that it's within all of us. We all have that potential, but it's in that whoosh feeling, that feeling of connection that you just described. And it's available to everyone with practice.
I didn't tell anybody anything about you, your bio or anything. You have such an interesting story. And I would love for you to just share a little bit about how you came into this work.
I have been meditating a lot for 2 years, and I wanted to awaken. So that was like my inner chant all the time. I dreamed about a white wolf. And then 2 weeks later, I met real wolves and I could hear them just like we're talking now. And that essentially activated all of my intuitive qualities. Let's skip forward a few years. I was working as a librarian. And from all this inner work and the things the wolves were telling me, because I actually believed then that all these different things were possible, because who ever heard of a wolf talking to people except in indigenous stories? And so people wanted to know, what are you doing? And they were like, I'll pay you to talk to my pet, or I'll pay you to tell me what to do about this. So soon I was making money for that. Then I would read Spirit of Ma, a spiritual magazine on the internet, and they were looking for writers, and they hired me, even though I only had one published article to share. That sort of began to give me a client base, and then within a year, I made enough money to quit my job and just do this, and so it goes. I will say this, though, in the library, I read all the spiritual books, and I've actually interviewed or had almost all those people in my summits, which is a pretty wonderful turnaround.
Yeah, I know you interviewed Neil Donald Walsh recently. And
Right.
that's pretty amazing because he would be very difficult to get a hold of.
Yeah. So they actually, whoever his agent is, wrote me and asked if I would like to interview him. So it's like, yes, please.
How exciting.
But
Yeah.
I think it was because I wanted to talk to him, because his first book, Conversations with God, was one of the things that had sustained me. So he was often in my mind, like, thank you, God, for this person.
So the work that you're doing, there are all different types of energy tools we can use. Can you talk a little bit about this toolbox that you have?
I think the easiest thing to do, and this was how I started, is I would just sit there outside for 5 minutes and feel like the light of the sun or the light of the moon coming into me and illuminating me, which that's the whoosh, you feel better. Then at that point, whatever was bothering me in my life, I would see the opposite of that. Like when I was stuck in the library and I had two small children, and you can imagine how much a librarian's salary covers, right? I would imagine that I was making more money and I was working in this really beautiful room, and I had some job that had involved writing and creativity and helping people. And that's what it became. I had no idea it would become that I was doing this. But that's
So,
an example of turning things around.
so that sounds like visualization.
It is, but it's more than visualization, because it was the feeling. When we go to a higher feeling, think about when you're madly in love, everything in life just goes right because you're at a higher vibration, or you're very happy, or you're very healthy. Everything sort of changes and it goes into a better flow. So the meditation puts you on a higher vibration, but when you visualize, you want to feel it, like you're contented, you've achieved something. Your whole life is moving the way you want it to move. And usually that involves overcoming some fears, because you can imagine that I probably did not feel very confident doing readings at first. I started with animals, and one client said, "Would you read me?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Damn it, you read me all the time through my dog. Please do it. I'm in a terrible place." So I did it. Then I started doing people.
So give us an idea of some of the things we can do ourselves.
I'm going to give you some lifetime examples. So if I feel tired, I'll do the thing with the light before I go to bed. And then I'll think about the times when I've been in the best shape, like it was easy to hike for 7 hours, or easy to run 3 miles, or I felt great about my progress in yoga. That actually awakens that energy within your body. So if I would wake up and say, wow, I really need to get into shape, I would substitute that feeling of when I was in shape. If it was success, I would think about another time when everything went really well and I was happy and it was working. Everybody always wants to know about abundance. So whatever you're making now, go ahead and double it in your mind and see yourself making that every week, every month, every 3 months. When that becomes consistent, go ahead and double it again. People always say, I want to win the lottery. Let's work with what you have first and expand it and then take it up. The other part of it is everyone wants to be valued for who they are by people who really get them. And I find that the more I say this to myself, the more people I meet like that who are just amazing.
What was that?
Everyone wants people who care about them and love them for who they are and who gets what they're saying and what they're doing and has like a heartfelt reaction to that. And so I'm always asking for more people like that. Like today, I was talking with an international filmmaker and we love each other. It's just one of those connections. We're both different. We both like that in one another. It's so cool when people's lives start to change in a positive direction and they're really happy.
So let's go back to some of the exercises we can do.
Sure. So I want you to draw a big circle on your chest. And we're going to make that circle pink. And we're going to imagine that coming down from the heaven is a pink ray of light. And it's filling up the circle. And it's filling it up with unconditional love. So feel that love just pour into you. It's filling you up. It's warm. It's soft. It's unconditional love. It loves you exactly the way you are. Let more of that light come in and let it relax your shoulders and your chest and your upper back. And just feel that. Then let's breathe in the love for a moment. Pink light. Then breathe out pink light. Breathe in pink light. Breathe out pink light. Breathe it in. Now this time, whatever it is that you want to create, happiness is fine, or abundance is fine. Breathe it out into that. Breathe in pink light again. Now breathe it into the abundance or the happiness or the love that you want. And come back. And it's just amazing to me how this can take you into such a peaceful place. And as simple as it sounds, breathing love into something that your heart wants actually improves your life.
What's the significance of pink light versus another color light?
Oh, I can see colors and I can see chakras and things. And I noticed that when people thought about love, they had pink. If we want to be calm, light blue light is a wonderful thing for that. If someone is angry at you, I just see myself covered in light blue light. They can't get in. You know how if someone hurts your feelings or argue with you, you keep thinking about them. If you're thinking about light blue light, you won't feel that. Violet light transmutes things and brings them to a higher level. And like a lemon yellow is happiness.
Oh, how fun. And what is the color for healing if someone is ill right now? Is there a color for that?
I would use pink. Typically, Esoterica says go with emerald green, but that makes things grow. I had a friend whose baby had a mosquito bite, and she said, you told me emerald green light was good for healing, but her bite's just getting bigger. And I said, okay, it makes things grow. So what we're going to do is use light blue light, which gets rid of any kind of agitation or irritation. And it just went right away. We're moving from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age. And there's a lot of knowledge from the past that isn't exactly right where we are. Like they'll say work on the top 3 chakras. But we sit at desk and use the computer. So developing our bottom chakras is equally important. It's a good thing about having a healthy body. But the main thing for people to realize is that if you start putting out positive vibrations, even if you're afraid to get something that you want or to move through something, if you keep coming back to the love and you keep coming back to the universe and feeling that connection, it will change. We all have beliefs and patterns. Some people say it's past lives or it's karmic. I don't think it matters because it's what we're dealing with. I have them, you have them. And we all just have to work our way through it by seeing positive outcomes. I'll just give you an example. I always get nervous about 5 minutes before I'm in video, but I knew how much I wanted to talk to Katana. And it makes me very happy to do this as soon as I start. So what I say to myself is, it's okay that you feel that way. Anytime you grow, you're going to feel a little bit of anxiety, but you'd rather grow than have anxiety. And then I'll hold a visualization of everything going well.
So one of the things that you share too is this idea of when you're worried about someone, for example, to send them pink light. Let's say if it's a child and they're struggling, instead of seeing them struggling, but to keep sending them this pink light, what actually is happening there?
What's happening is you can't send them their thoughts. When we think about how we want our children to change, or how we want our loved ones to change, they read that as we're trying to control them or something is the matter with them. When we're just sending light, after a while, if you keep doing it, you'll start thinking about what's so wonderful about them, what their gifts are, how lucky you are to have them in your life. Instead of, as a mother, I'll be honest, I'll say sometimes, if you would just do this, or if you would just do that, everything would be fine. But I've learned they aren't going to respond to that. The love they will respond to.
Another thing that you talk about, which I think is so important, is this idea of when you are in a high vibration, you are in a vibration with all the people that are in that high vibration, where if you're in a low, angry, resentment, guilt, you're in the same vibration with all those people that are in that vibration.
And we've all had it. I do too. Sometimes I forget about getting in a high vibration. I'm like, why is the traffic so heavy? What was the person in that store so rude to me? And then I'll go, oh, it must be my vibration. I've got to get on a higher vibration. And so I start thinking about how I love life, how glad I am to be out and getting my errands done, how nice it will be when I get back home. And once I start moving into that, people start responding very well to me, and so does life. Here's the parking space. They give you a discount on something. There's no one in line at the cashier. It completely changes, and we forget that we have that choice all the time.
You taught me something that is so powerful, and it's just so simple, and I do this all the time, and I've been sharing it with people, is to put your hand on your heart and just ask yourself, how does my body feel when it's relaxed?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, my shoulders go down and my anxiety level drops like probably 10% or 20%, a lot. It drops way down. And what is going on there? You're saying that the body knows what relaxed feels like, and it just goes into that state?
It does. I also think at this particular point in time and space, not only is our consciousness becoming more aware of possibilities through light and love, but our bodies are, and they're more responsive. So when you put your hands on your heart, you're immediately moving into a state of unconditional love for yourself. And then if I ask my body, what does it feel like when you're relaxed? Here go my shoulders. So your body and your heart want to sync. They want to come into synchronicity.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want everyone that's listening to try that.
It's powerful and it's so easy. And every time I have anxiety when I'm working, I'll say, what does it feel like if I'm connected and relaxed? And then it just goes away.
So that's why I'm saying there's these wonderful free tools that you can do anywhere. No one's going to know you're doing that. It's not like you're
Exactly.
going to do breath work or jump up and down.
Yeah. We are coming back to your inner self when you do it. And our inner self is the part of us that has all the answers. So when we're doing this, we're saying, I want the part of me that has the answers, and I want my body to move into synchronicity with it.
Share with us the difference between meditation and prayer, like the purpose of both of those. Do they go together?
I think they go together, but I was raised as a fairly strict Christian. So it's if someone is sick or someone has a problem, I'll go, please, God, please help them. Let's send energy to them. Let's change things. On the other hand, I'll also, when I meditate, I'll send love to them. And I'll imagine that they're connected to their inner self and they're getting better. So I do both. How many times have we been late and said, please, God, don't let me be any later than 15 minutes? And then you're there.
So what's that all about?
You're asking for divine energy or higher energy to come in and change things. Like that is something I teach in some of my classes is how to change time. If you're running late, 5 minutes is fine. So you see yourself getting there maybe at, let's say, 5 minutes after 2. And you get there, but you don't look at the clock and you don't think about it. You just see yourself arriving because time and space move all the time. Everything is moving around all the time. It's what I say, especially for women. You had three $20 bills in your purse, can't find them. You had a pen or your checkbook, not there. You go back and look in a couple hours when you're not worried about it, there they are. Nothing is like the solid thing that we think that it is. But those spaces between everything allow the divine energy to come in and change it.
And can you share a little bit about healing and how that works? Energy
Okay.
works through healing, whether it's emotional healing, whether it's actual physical healing. And have you seen anything like that before?
Oh, yeah. Emotional healing is something that I work on with almost everyone because I'd say that my clients are 80% females. And most of us want to be able to not react as strongly as we do. So, one thing we do is send light and love to the part of us that's having the reaction. It's obviously not all of us because 3 days later, it might not even bother us, right? But in the moment, it's extraordinarily upsetting. So we learn to love that part of us that's experiencing or causing the upset, which helps it to heal. If there are past events, then we delete and uncreate those energetically. And if it's physical healing, all the different parts of the body, let's say, for example, your feet or how you walk through life, they have different meanings, but we actually go in and put more light and more energy there, and we see it as whole and healed. And that would be how we start with it.
So, Julia, you make it sound so simple.
Well, it's simple, but it's work. It's not like you can do that once and expect to be well. You might have to do it every day for a year or 6 months.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I have really strong emotions. I have literally worked on them every day for probably 2 decades. The difference is now I'll say to myself, I'm really upset. I know that what I'm feeling is not a place to respond from. I know if I wait until tomorrow, I'll feel very differently. It's okay to feel upset for a while, but I do need to come back into myself, relax, and wait before I respond. And before I probably would have yelled.
So I would like you to talk a little bit about this program you have,
Mhm.
because is it going to incorporate these kind of things in it? What is the purpose of it? And when does it start?
Okay. The purpose of it is to do what we're doing now, to feel that light and that love, to awaken your inner self so you know the basics of creating things. And then I always tune into my audience to see what we need to work on and what we need to teach. It's impossible to do this without working on some of your patterns. Or if I were going to go into psychology talk, I could say your weak points or what's the matter with you. I don't think that. I think those are just parts of ourselves we don't know how to deal with yet, or they're not evolved. And then we work on projecting a better future. But just let's take 5 seconds to think about it. What if we were all more in a state of love? What if we were all projecting good things for the future? The world might change in a year. Think about what the energy is like now and what it's like when you're in that state. I have 3 classes a month. That's 1, 2, 3 weeks that you get a 45-minute to an hour class to do this kind of work. You can ask questions and write them down. It's in March. It's extremely inexpensive, and it's something that a lot of people can benefit from, which is not totally gracious on my part because I want a better world. And I know that when people go into this state, not only does it improve them, it improves the space around them. It's an inclusive thing. And after a while, people will say, how did that happen? How did you make that happen? And you just go to that and they'll say, oh, I want that to happen to me too. How do I do it? So that makes for a big change in your life.
Yeah, yeah. And it's going to be tools that we can just
You,
practice,
hmm
and then they become just naturally part of us.
right. And probably just some basic handouts like I did with the 3-day teaching that I did for free.
Oh, that was so great. It was just amazing. So one last thing I want to ask you, is there an importance to creating rituals or having a process?
In the morning, I go and sit in the sunlight and I feel the sunlight and I imagine it's light that's coming into me and I breathe. And when I feel the light and I feel like I'm full of light, then I visualize what I want. At night, I imagine that light is coming into my physical body, that it's in all the cells, all the spaces in between. I'm filling up with this beautiful light on a physical level. And then I'll just hold an image of what I want to have happen. And I'll see myself as being very happy about it. And I end that with telling myself, and now you go into the world's most wonderful sleep. And I usually do.
So tell everyone, how do we connect with you? How do we get on your list or register for the course?
Sure. You can go to my website, onetrueself, O-N-E, trueself.com. You can sign up for my newsletter on the main page. And then if you'll look at the tabs, the class that's coming up is Manifest Membership, and you can get all the information you need there.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. Manifest membership. Great. So we're at the top of our show. And
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful.
absolutely. And it just went by so quickly.
I know. That's when we know it's working.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
So everyone, please come to our website. It's joinsmartwomen.com. So you can get on our list and then you'll know who our guests are. And you'll also be invited to the Smart Women Academy with all kinds of free resources. Be sure to subscribe. And until that next show, go out and live with more purpose, passion, and prosperity. Smart Women Talk is brought to you by Smart Women's Empowerment, a 501c3 nonprofit project of United Charitable. Music by Bill Lucas from his album When It Rains. Available on Apple Music and Spotify. Catch us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, and be sure to join our free community at joinsmartwomen.com to access all our free Smart Women resources.